All right. Well, nice to talk to you guys
Hi,
again. Hi.
Whoa!
where are
Wow.
you?
I'm floating, I don't know, somewhere in space. I think that's the moon.
They're so chill about it. Wow. Bubble bath for all I know.
Yeah, I have no clue. But anyway, my first question for you, Jamie, and this is about the finale specifically. But Brian decides, after they finally get away, he's like, "I'm going to go back for this battle," and I'm like, "Why? No, no." So explain that. Like, why is it so important to him that he can't just stay there with her
At the end of season
at the end of season one? Yes.
oh, okay. Well, I think it's at that time, you really had two choices. So if you when something like that happens, when the crosses are lit, you can either go back to your laird as you're supposed to do, report for war, and then do your duty, or not do that. And then the repercussions for doing so would be exile. You couldn't be accepted into any clan. And I think for Brian's sake, I think what's going through his head at that time is he wants to stay in Scotland, first of all, because, he's just found the love of his life and he wants to stay with her. But he also has this really, really strong sense of duty. He knows what's right and from wrong, and he knows what he has to do. And as much as his duty is to Ellen and his loyalty is to her, he does have a loyalty to doing what's right. So when these crosses are lit, the first thing that comes to his head is, okay, well, this is what I have to do now. Um, because if I don't do this, then it could jeopardize everything. Whether that happens or not, we'll have to see in season two. But that's what's going through his head at the end of episode 10.
All right, fair enough. Now, Harriet, obviously she agrees with this choice because she doesn't try to stop him. But what are her plans? Why this is all going on? Is she? I mean, I'm assuming she's not intending to go into battle, but maybe I don't know. Maybe you are.
Oh, I mean, I think she probably could. I
Yeah, I'm
think
sure she could.
but it wasn't really acceptable back then. But I don't know, to be honest. I don't think she knows what her plans are or what the future holds for them in that moment. But I think she does know that she loves him and that he loves her, and that whatever happens, they'll do it together as a team because they are not yet married, but they are handfast and are planning to get married within the next year. And so I think she's safe in that knowledge and the security of that love. And I think they've overcome so much together as a couple already. I think she feels confident that they can survive this too.
Hmm.
All right. And Jamie, do you think Brian seemed to actually believe her for a little bit, just a little bit, I think he did, about that she was, done with him for right then. Would he have, is there any possibility that he would have been able to move on, or would he have, fought tooth and nail no matter what to come back, no matter what she said, or would he have been able to accept it eventually, do you think?
Oh no, he wouldn't be able to accept it. No chance. No, no, no way. At the point, at the moment when it actually happened, yeah, he did because she was saying to him all his fears that he had. He'd already had these conversations with Myrta where, Myrta was talking about, I think was it episode 5 where Martha was talking to Brian about all the things that Grant's had, coin, and status, which, Brian didn't have. And then these are the things that Ellen threw in his face, and these things. So obviously he's going to believe what she says because these are his biggest fears. But at that point in time, obviously it was just emotions which were taking over control over Brian, and it's not until later in episode 10 where we see him kind of the emotions simmer down and he starts to go through it logically and be like, okay, well, actually, what was she saying? Okay, no, this doesn't make any sense. So no, there's no bone in me which believes that Brian would just have accepted that. He might accept it at the time just because of how heated that conversation was, but yeah, he would have always gone after Ellen after that because there's no way he would
I
have. Absolutely.
think you would have crashed the wedding.
Well, on the flip side of that, if her brother hadn't attacked him or sent somebody to attack him, I should say, I mean, was she really willing to go with Grant and forget about him? Or, yeah, how would that have went, do you think?
Yeah, how would that went?
Okay, I don't think she was until that moment when he said, if you don't break with him, I'll have him killed. I think up until that moment, she always thought that she would find a way out because that's what she does. She always, she finds a way out of things. She manipulates situations and she survives. And I think it's not until that moment that she actually loses hope and realizes she's in way too deep and she can't bear the thought of any harm coming to Brian and it being her fault. So that's why she breaks up with him. She has to make him believe that she doesn't love him in order to save his life, because the thought of him, she says it to Julia. She says, to lose them forever would be too great a price to pay. That would be far worse than, maybe ending up together, but then being killed, because I think they would be hunted down if they chose to run away together in that moment when she leaves that tent with Colin and she goes and finds him and says, we need to leave now. I think they would have been followed by the Grants and he would have been killed. And she can't bear that. So I think she does in that moment accept that this is the way her life's going to go. And that's why she reaches out to Jocasta as well and apologizes to her, because she finally realizes the position that she put her sister in by making this match that she wasn't, she had no say in, and she finally understands how that feels. So that's some good that came of it, I guess, is that she, reconciles. Her and her sister have some sort of relationship that comes out of it. But no, luckily that doesn't last very long. Luckily, Brian comes charging back into the castle and reveals that Colin has done this thing, and that frees her of her obligation to go through with the marriage, because he broke his word, so she can break hers.
Right. I know we're almost at time, but really quick, can she ever forgive Colin for that?
We'll see. To be honest, I think that moment in the study where she gives him the opportunity to admit what he's done is her sort of giving him a chance to leave the door open. And I think the fact that he doesn't, I think, gives her the strength to sever ties and run away, and leave everything behind. And she has that line in the bothy where he says, you'll be grieving for what you've left behind. And she says, well, I'll remember the good and close the door on the bad. And I think Colin very much at that point is the bad. And she's accepted that he's betrayed her and he's not who she thought he was. So I don't know. I guess you'll have to wait and see.
All right. Well, I know I'm out of time, but I appreciate at least getting to talk to you guys again for a couple minutes. So yeah, hopefully I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, you too. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Have a good rest of your day.